In typical bye-week fashion here on New York Giants Now by Chat Sports, I'm going to give you my record prediction for the remaining games on Big Blue's schedule. Before we dive into that, though, I got a question for all the real ones watching. 1.5 more wins for the Giants this year. Type O for over, type U for under. I want to hear from you down below. You are watching New York Giants Now by Chat Sports, and I am your host, Marshall Green. Appreciate everybody for stopping by and clicking on today's video. Let's go ahead and jump into today's topic, my record prediction for the final 4 games for Big Blue. They're on their bye week. Content is a little bit hard to come by, but we're going to talk draft, where they could pick, who they're going to beat, if they're going to beat anybody, and what their final record will be. Before we do that, though, I want to let everybody know that we are officially selling Giants Now by Chat Sports t-shirts. The logos are embroidered, and you can get yours today by going to this link, chatsports.com/GiantsNow shirt. That's chatsports.com/GiantsNow shirt. Any person that buys a shirt, when you get it, put it on, of course, take a picture and send it to me on social media, and we'll show it on the program. All right, if the NFL draft was today, the 2-11 New York Giants would be picking second, which some people will be really happy about. Some people like myself who, when we get to March and April, will be extremely happy, but I don't love having the number 2 pick and talking about the draft before we get to open up presents on Christmas Day. The question is, are the New York Giants going to pick number 2 when the draft gets here? In Joe Schoen fashion, it is that time of year. The old debate. Culture wins, first draft pick losses. What is better for the New York Giants right now? These wins at the end of the season, similar to the one that was against the Indianapolis Colts last year, that carried over so much culture this year? Or would it be better for the New York Giants to lose the rest of the games and pick as close as they can to number 1? ESPN every week puts out kind of analytics and projections of where they think teams are going to pick in the NFL draft. According to their thousands upon thousands of simulations, they have the New York Giants picking averagely at the 5th overall selection. The Football Power Index from ESPN, they're giving the Giants a 5.5% chance to pick number 1 overall, a 57.5% chance to pick inside the top 5, and they're saying they are almost a mortal lock to pick inside the top 10 at a 98.6% clip. Here are the 4 remaining games for Big Blue. You get 3 home games and a game on the road, starting with a game at MetLife against the Washington Commanders. They are 3-9 on the season. Will Jaden Daniels be back by week 15? Should the Commanders even play Jaden Daniels, as their season, like the New York Giants, as well as the Minnesota Vikings and Raiders, is finito. Then you get to play the Vikings at home, who are 4-9. Is J.J. McCarthy going to be back? Is it going to be Max Brosmer? What are they doing? Then you get to play the Las Vegas Raiders, who I think are the worst team in the NFL. They are a dumpster fire. They make the New York Giants dumpster fire actually look pretty cute. And then you got week 18 against the Dallas Cowboys, a game that might be really the ultimate decider if they are going to make the playoffs or not. I think I said or night. No, I was born at night, just not last night. All right, the Giants, my prediction is they are not going to pick in the top 3, which is kind of a little bit of a spoiler. I think they are going to win at least one more game. And I think if you do win one more game, you're probably going to be picking closer to number 7 than you are number 3. All right, week 15 versus the Washington Commanders. I don't think Jaden Daniels is going to play. And to be honest with you, I don't even think it matters. I don't have the Giants winning that football game. I'm going to call that a loss for the New York Giants. I think the Commanders, and look, I'll be honest, I think they can win this game. There's been a lot of games I thought the New York Giants should win. I mean, they've only had 10-point leads in 7 games this year, and they are 2-5 in those games. But I do think they are going to lose the Commanders, and it doesn't really matter if Jaden Daniels is going to play or not. I do think they are going to beat the Minnesota Vikings, though. There is a small part of me that says Brian Flores, no matter who is the quarterback for Minnesota, doesn't matter because Flores is a defensive coordinator, and I think he might be able to put a defensive game plan together that could really make Jaxson Dart struggle. But I don't think the Vikings are that good, and I think the Giants' strengths kind of match up with their weaknesses, which aren't many weaknesses or not many strengths, I guess you would say, for the Giants. But I have them winning that ball game to get to 3 wins on the season. And I do have them beating the Las Vegas Raiders, who, like I previously mentioned, sorry, Mitchell Renz, they are the worst football team in the National Football League. Geno Smith has been awful. Pete Carroll is at the stage of his NFL coaching career where you just got to take the keys away from him. And I don't mean keys to coach the team. I mean keys to drive a car because he's like 85 years old and should not be on an NFL sideline any longer. I then have the New York Giants losing to the Dallas Cowboys. I just don't think the New York Giants are on the same level as the Cowboys, and I don't even think the Cowboys are that good despite making some much-needed changes at the NFL trade deadline that I think have boosted the stock of their program at this point. Adding Quinnen Williams was a big addition. So 2-2 over the final 4 games, which would bring the New York Giants record to 4-13. 1 game better than one they were last year, so Joe Schoen must come back, right? Wrong. He should be fired. And I think that, unfortunately, these next couple of games could decide the fate of him, which is extremely backwards. Let's take a trip down memory lane. If I would have told you, if producer Dart, who's producing today's video, would have told you the New York Giants are going to be 4-13 following the undefeated preseason where the vibes were sky high, I would have said you're smoking something. But you know what? Here we are. Every year I always do record predictions, and I've been doing this since 2022 in the fall. I have picked a record preseason that has a lot more wins than the New York Giants actually end up with. But the 2022 season, I was right on the money. Maybe next year I take my own advice and I don't overrate the Giants and let my Kool-Aid sipping bleed through, but I'm a Giants fan. I can't help it. So I think ESPN is on the money where they think the New York Giants are going to pick around the number 5 overall spot. And sadly, as backwards as this is, like I'm going to say this out loud and you're just going to see how backwards this is. I think the final 4 games are going to dictate whether Joe Schoen keeps his job. In those final 4 games, you get to play the Raiders, the Vikings, and the Commanders, which all have less than 5 wins at the time of the Giants' bye week. And the Giants are going to decide the fate of their general manager against the worst football teams in the NFL. Think about how backwards that is. You are going to decide if Joe Schoen's your general manager, if he can beat the Vikings, or if he can beat the Raiders, or if he can beat the Washington Commanders. I think there's a world the Giants can go 3-1 over these next 4 games. I think there's a world they can go 2-2. I think there's a world they can go 1-3. And I also think there's a world where they can go 0-4. I still don't have a good read on this football team. I just know if they're up double digits in the fourth quarter, they are going to lose. I do hate rooting for losses. I did it last year. I was rooting for the New York Giants to lose because I thought it was in the best interest of this organization. And was it? Is it? I don't really know. But I'm not really, unless we get to week 18, I'm not rooting for losses at this point. I'm rooting for wins. I'm rooting for Jaxson Dart to go out there and be a good quarterback and be a better quarterback when he hangs his helmet in the locker up after the game before he takes it off the shelf and puts it on before the game. I want Jaxson Dart to get better and better and better every single time he plays. And I don't really believe there's much carryover from year to year, especially week 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18 to week 1 of the following season. But I do think Jaxson Dart learning how to win games, maybe going through a game-winning drive, maybe the 4-minute drill, running the clock out with the ball in his hands and winning the game on his terms. I think that matters because I do think for a quarterback and a young quarterback, winning can be contagious. And I think these wins for Dart will better this franchise in the long term, better than maybe picking 2nd or 3rd instead of 5th or 6th. So I'm going to be rooting for Dart. I'll be wearing my Jaxson Dart jersey the rest of the season. That's all we got left on this offense at this point. Major shout out to everybody in the building. If you hate to love the Giants, hit that thumbs up icon. We love them, but sometimes I hate how much I love this damn football team. If you're with me, hit that thumbs up icon. And make sure you are following me on social media. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram @MarshallGreen_.